The dairy bar started out as a small creamery within a brick college barn, which allowed for students in the animal husbandry department to learn proper dairy product handling. As more equipment was purchased and more people started to enjoy the fresh dairy products, the creamery outgrew the space and a new dairy building was completed in 1904.
The evolution of the dairy bar reflected the changes in society and the availability of dairy products and the importance of dairy in early Oklahoma agricultural production, especially after 1900, in which small farmers could have one or two cows. And with the invention of an improved cream separator, now they could separate the cream from the milk and then sell that cream to a producer. And for many families, this would add $300 to $400 income and annual salary. And at that time, that's a lot of money. And so the expansion and capacity of the dairy processing improvements really impacted local farmers.
Now that the process of creating fresh dairy products had been improved, there was the issue of creating a market for those products. Lots of families had one or two cows, lived on farms, but how would they get other people to buy that produce? For the Oklahoma Agricultural and Mechanical College, the answer arrives in the form of the dairy bar.
In 1904, they built an actual dairy building exclusively for the production of dairy products. After that happened, people both on campus and in the community began gathering there when production was in process, and especially when they knew ice cream or cottage cheese was being produced, they would purchase those items. And so the university or college began selling items to the community and to students beginning in 1904. By 1928, there's a new dairy building that's completed, and it has both production facilities for the dairy department, but also classrooms, laboratories, and offices. And that's where really the dairy bar begins to happen, in which they had sales. The Payne County Milk Producers Association took over production of the dairy products, and they had a room on the north end of the building. And that's where people from around the area could purchase dairy products.
Once the dairy bar had outgrown its space in the college barn, gained popularity in the 1920s and 30s, it became a place for students and faculty to gather, albeit it was a tight fit.
So in the 1940s, it's a hallway with some chairs. and the hallway was about, I'm guessing, maybe 12 to 15 feet wide. And there'd just be a few chairs along the edge of the hallway. By 52, I guess, that's when they first added a few tables with the chairs in the hallway. By the mid-60s, there was a main hallway that was the exit, which was on the east side of the building. But then there was a north-south hallway, and chairs began filling up that hallway too. So it expanded, the hallway expanded. That whole setup really didn't change even until the 80s. Except for they added the outdoor seating area.
The dairy bar was mainly operated by faculty up until the 1950s, when students became a part of the process.
And so that's when they began really marketing dairy products in the dairy building. And this was done mostly through the faculty in the dairy science or dairy husbandry department. So they were really the employees, the faculty, and they would have students who then began kind of officially working at the dairy bar. So you could still buy your products from the Payne County Milk Producers Association, but then you could go to the dairy bar right in that same hallway down the road a little bit in the same building, and you could get then a bottle of milk or a cup of ice cream or whatever. And that was managed completely by the dairy science department.
In the 1970s, the dairy bar became a place for students to spend time together and enjoy a nice break from studying. As the school grew in population, more and more students saw the dairy bar as a third space.
So beginning in the late 70s, early 80s, ag is continuing to move a lot of its activities further to the north and west. And so the rest of campus is beginning to move into that area. And so geographically, there are new students now exposed to the dairy bar. And so it's a more eclectic. It's not just dairy, it's not just ag, it's now almost anybody on campus. And so there really is a sense of space where everyone is comfortable and everyone can fit in. And it really became a place where I think everyone was welcome.